Welcome to Stayf Draws. I'm Stayf, an illustrator and animator, and in this video I'm going to show you how to animate in Adobe Animate. I've been using Adobe Animate for 16 years now, and it used to be called Flash. And the people at Adobe now are developing new stuff for Adobe Animate. And I want to show you how I made the end credits of my YouTube channel, because in the end of each video, the last 20 seconds, you now can have sort of annotations that also work on mobile platforms, like when you're watching the videos on your Android or your iPad or other smart devices. You can also click on the links. So let's get to the video. For my end credit, I wanted to make a little animation, and you can do that in several apps to make animations. Most of the time you use After Effects for it, but I'm going to use Adobe Animate. And first I made a file in Photoshop with all the icons and the placement of everything. And I'm going to import that in Adobe Animate. And I have it open here. And first I need to create a new file. So just go to File and then press New or Command N. And then you get an option. And I want it to be 1080 by 1920. And they already have some templates for it, so that's great. Just I select that, and here you can fit in window, because here's the menu you can use for the percentage of your canvas, because this is the canvas you're going to work on. Fit in window, and here you already see an aspect ratio. And that has got the title and action safe, and you use that for TV. But I'm going to use this end screen just for my YouTube videos, but some of you also watch it on smart TV or on an Apple TV, and then you have to leave that in the save title stuff. But it's a very small percentage, so I'm not really going to use it, so I can delete that. Now I'm going to import the PSD file, and you can do that by going to File, Import, and Import to Stage, because you can also import it to the library, but now I'm going to import it to the stage. And the shortcut for that is Command R. Open, and here you get some options how you want to import it. Oh no, here you can flatten it to one thing. Just gonna leave this here. Text I'm not going to edit. Convert layers to animate layers, and match the stage size. That's 1920 by 1080. So press OK, and now your entire PSD is imported to your stage. And here you see all the layers are also named, and I didn't name all of the layers, but I'm going to make symbols out of all of these elements because I want to animate them. So I'm going to start off with the Stayf Draws logo, and you can make movie clips out of it, and movie clips or graphics you can animate in the timeline. And here's the timeline of Adobe Animate, and these are the keyframes. So I'm now on frame 1, and I'm just going to first make graphics or movie clips out of it, so I can animate them. There are two different ways you can make a symbol out of this. The first one is go to Modify, then go to Convert to Symbol when you press on that, or use the F8 key. And I'm going to do that, and good practice is to always name your movie clips or graphics, because you can make a movie clip out of it, a button, and I'm not going to use that, and a graphic. And graphics I will use in other tutorials. Now we're just going to leave it as a movie clip, and I'm just going to name this Stayf Doodles logo. And I'm going to do that for the rest of all of these symbols. So now I have converted all of my symbols, or all of my graphics, to symbols, and made movie clips out of it. And when you go to the right, you see the properties, and the properties are the properties of your movie clip or the brush you're working with. And there's also a library, and in the library you can now see all of the movie clips that are in the library now. And what I'm now going to do is flatten all the layers. So I'm going to select all. So that's Command A and Command X, and then copy it to one layer. And if you want to do that, it's best to paste in place. That's Command Shift V, and you can also find it on Edit, because then everything is still in place. If you do Command V, just paste it, then it's not in the same place. What I'm now going to do is select all of this with my right mouse click, and now you can distribute it to layers, or that's Command Shift D, and then all of the files will be distributed to all the layers, and then you have all the names of your movie clips in the name of your layer, because these are all the layers. So I'm going to do distribute to layers, and now you can see that everything has the same name as your movie clips. And now I can throw away all of these empty, because these are all empty keyframes. And when there is a black dot, then you have something on there. So this is the preparation of the file, and now I'm going to animate everything. I also recorded a voiceover, and I'm now going to import it as well. So you can go to File, Import, Import to Stage, and I'm first going to select an empty frame. So I'm going to do it on the button layer, and then press Command R, and now you can import it to the stage. And you see something of a voice track, but you're not seeing anything. So what you first need to do is, because there's only one frame selected and you need more frames, and this is going to be 20 seconds at 25 frames, but also going to check it here. It's still set to 29.97, and I want it to be 25, so you can adjust that. And these are just because I'm now selecting the stage, and then in the properties you can select the size and also the frames per second, and I want it to be 25 because I'm on Paul. What we're going to do now is create a timeline, and Because it's 20 seconds and 25 frames per second, I need 500 frames. So I'm going to scroll to the right and find 500. Here's 500. And just press the Shift key and then press on the lowest layer. And now you have selected all of the layers, and then press on the right mouse and then you get an option, and I'm going to do insert blank keyframe. So now you see that there is a soundtrack, and if you want to play it, don't press on the spacebar but on your enter key. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Google Plus and Periscope. You can buy my stuff on Vimeo on demand, Etsy, iBooks and Redbubble. Subscribe to my newsletter and get free stuff. So when you select the audio, you can see the properties here, sound, and it's now set to stream, and you want it to have it set to stream. If you put it on start and you want to start your animation here, you cannot hear the audio. So on default it's on stream, which is a good thing, so that you can time everything and time your animations to the voice over. So now I'm going to select some of the keyframes, and what a good practice is to copy all of these keyframes, because I'm going to switch them around. On 440 I will select all of the symbols, and then you can, with a right mouse click, you can convert it to keyframes, and now all the symbols are on your keyframe. So this is just for safekeeping, that you have everything in place, because this is going to be the end frame of the animation. Now I'm going to switch around some stuff, because it starts out as a blank keyframe, and I'm going to move in Stayf drawers, subscribe, follow me on, and all of the other symbols, and time it to the voiceover. You can follow me on Instagram. So first thing, this is going to stay in place, and first thing I'm going to move the orange bar, and this has to be pretty quick. So if you want to make a new keyframe, you can do that by inserting here's the timeline, convert to keyframes, that's F6. You can do it here, but you know, it's much faster if you have the short key, and that's F6. So I'm just going to do F6, and then the timeline is here. You can follow me on so this is gone. I'm going to leave this here as well, because that's already in the frame, and later on in YouTube, you can make a button here, and that's for the end credits, and now everyone can use that, and that's going to be the button to subscribe. So I'm just going to leave this as is. So Stayf Draws is on the first keyframe, and also subscribe and little arrow, and the rest will follow later. And follow me on Twitter. It's going to be set at the same keyframe. And with all of these, if you want to select them, you can select it on the timeline, or you can select all the symbols here, and then you can see that they're all in order, and press F6 and they will pop up, because these aren't here yet. So you can also select several frames. You're just gonna stand on this frame and then on the lower frame you want to change, and this is Twitter. So this is the whole selection, and also hold the shift key, and then it will select all of the frames, and then you can move it around on your timeline. And the same with this stuff. This will be later on, and because this is the first I'm going to do all the social media buttons, then all of these buttons, and then this is the last button. This is for my newsletter. I'm also going to select all of these with shift click, and CCP, well, I'm going to select that one as well, so I can move that around. Can move that around. You really had to stand on this thing, and you have to keep it in place, otherwise you will overwrite other buttons you have or symbols you have. You can find it where Twitter, Facebook, Google Plus, and Periscope. You can buy my stuff on Vimeo. Here you can buy my stuff. So that's on frame, well, let's say 170 where it starts. And with the little arrows above your comma and point, you can scroll through the timeline per frame. So it's going to be at 170. So select all of the keyframes and just drag them to 170. And now I've made a mistake. Don't move them around, because then you'll lose another, because I have it set here on the subscribe button, and you really need to keep it in place, otherwise you'll lose some keyframes on another layer. Another handy feature is to, if you have a very long animation, that you can label everything. So I'm going to create here, just select, just call it label. It's always good, you know, to name all of your layers, so you know exactly when you need to do some editing later on, where everything is. So I'm going to select this keyframe, and in the properties you can label it. And here I'm going to just call this begin. And here you see the label. And here I'm going to insert a blank keyframe, because a blank keyframe has nothing in it. Otherwise you will just copy another keyframe that's before it. So insert blank keyframe, or press F7. And here's follow me. Follow me on Instagram. Here's Instagram, F7. Twitter. You can, of course, also just scroll through the timeline and then make your keyframes, but this is a handy little feature. If you want to change the buttons, then you can find them here. Twitter, Facebook on here, Facebook. But you'll get the idea. What we're first going to do is do the first animation. So this stays in place, and here I'm going to make the change because this is the end frame, and just going to select let me see where I'm going to, and if you want to see the entire screen you're working on, don't do it in fit in window, otherwise you cannot drag it below what you're seeing right now. So I'm going to do it at 50%, and now you have a little bit more of a stage. So what I'm going to do is I want this behind the bar, because the bar is going to pop up behind the bar, follow me on. So I need to change the order of the layers, and you can do that by just clicking on the layer and then, you know, drag it below all the other layers. And what I'm now going to do is select this one and just drag it below, and also going to do that for the bar. So this is going to pop up, and also for the rest of the buttons, and they also need to come from here. I'm just going to do a very simple animation now, just to show you how the timeline works, and it works with tweens. When you press on the right of your mouse, you get an option, and you get an option for create motion tween, and I'm never using this, and I'm using the create classic tween. What you see now is when you scroll through the timeline that the symbol is changing, and you're animating it with the tween. And I want this later, and you can adjust the speed of your tween. So the bar is going to be up very quick, and what you also can do is ease in and ease out. So when you're standing on the first keyframe and go to the properties on the right, you have some options here, and I want to ease this in, so you can drag it to the right and it's 100% ease out, or drag it to the left and then it's 100% ease in, or you can press the numbers into this little box. But let me see if this works. And the same with follow me on. Follow. Here we're going to start follow. Just going to select these keyframes. So you can follow me on. You can follow me on. And you just have to tweak it until you're satisfied. So I'm going to do the rest with the buttons, and I'm going to time them when you hear it in the voiceover that the buttons will pop up. I'm first doing the basic animation so that everything is synced in place, and after I've done that, you can tweak your animations and make them pop up a little bit more. But first you just need to sync everything to the voiceover. So now I've made the basic animation, and I'm now just going to play it in the timeline. So press enter. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Google+, and Periscope. You can buy my stuff on Vimeo On Demand, Etsy, iBooks, and Redbubble. Subscribe to my newsletter and get free stuff. So this is not very interesting yet, and when I have made the basic animation, so I know the timing when you hear something in the voiceover and the symbol just needs to pop up in time, now you can refine the animations. And what I'm doing now is adding some more keyframes, because I want the icons to squeeze in a little before they pop into place. And when you do that and when you play it in real time, you know, it really looks like they're just popping in. So I'm going to do that to all of the icons, and they're all having the same animation. And when you press Q, you can adjust the size of your icon or your movie clip, and then I'm just squeezing the buttons in. And what I'm doing is I first make the end frame, which is the same as when the icon is still coming in, and then in between I make an extra keyframe, and that keyframe I squeeze, and then I make a little tween with the create tween, and then you get the effect of the icons just popping in place. And this is the last one. That's for my newsletter of Stayf Draws, or my site Creative Cave Publishers. And there you have the newsletter. When you subscribe to the newsletter, you can get free stuff like brushes for Procreate, or when I'm going to do more tutorials about working in Adobe Animate, I will also share links to the files I'm making, so that you can follow along with the tutorials I'm giving on this YouTube channel. I hope you liked this video, and if you like it, please give it a thumbs up. Please let me know if you want me to do more video tutorials on working in Adobe Animate. Just let me know in the comments down below. You can also subscribe to my channel, and in that way you won't miss a single video. Drawing is fun, and practice makes perfect. See you next time. Doodles! You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Google+, and Periscope. You can buy my stuff on Vimeo On Demand, Etsy, iBooks, and Redbubble. Subscribe to my newsletter and get free stuff. You can find the links in the description box down below.